Hi Cancer, welcome to your February 2020 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details there. As far as what we have in front of us, this is what I call the Bridging the Gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side here represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. The cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. These are the past energies, present energies, future energies. And once we get through those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards to gain some additional insight. That's where the Bridging the Gap dynamic comes into play. And as for the decks being used, on the left side, we have the Lover's Path Tarot. On the right side, we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. All right, so with all that out of the way, past energy on your side, we got a few cards that came up. We have the Two of Cups, Power, and the Nine of Arrows. So this is actually a Cancer energy here, represents the first 10 degrees of Cancer. So for those of you with your Cancer placement in those degrees, this might resonate with you more. This is actually the Major Arcana card for Aries. It's the equivalent of the Emperor card. And then this is actually some Gemini energy here, the Nine of Arrows. So interesting mix of energies. So there's a few different ways I could see this playing out. For one, what stands out to me with this deck in particular, usually with Two of Cups, we think about a new love connection getting its start, right? And in the traditional tarot, it looks a lot more like a bright, sunny scene, right? But here, what stands out to me in this deck in particular, it looks like there was definitely a storm that was going on, right? We see some lightning in the background. And also, if we look at that cup there, it's actually knocked over and spilled already. So this could just be saying that maybe this was someone that might have come on a bit strong with you, and that could be what the power energy is representing there. And maybe it gave you some anxiety because, maybe you just gotten out of a previous connection, for example, so maybe you weren't ready, saying that maybe that cup, that empty cup representing you, maybe you were still getting over some kind of a heartbreak, which could be what the Nine of Arrows is about as well. And maybe this person might have come on a bit too strong for your liking. That's one way it could be playing out. Another way this could be playing out is that maybe this is just a problem that you guys had in the connection in the past, where maybe this was someone you viewed as being a bit controlling and maybe, always wanted to do things their way. And maybe that gave you a lot of anxiety. And maybe you were being, encouraged to speak up about it, but for whatever reason, you just had a lot of anxiety towards that and weren't able to necessarily do it, especially because for you guys, Gemini energy is your 12th house. So sometimes it's hard to access that type of energy. And as far as timing goes, maybe this was even something that might have been occurring around the Gemini full moon that we had as well during Sagittarius season. So that's what I see there. I'll see if anything else comes to mind. And for some of you, this could be someone you work with as well, possibly a boss, but maybe if not your actual boss, just someone in the workplace, given that Aries represents 10th house energy for you too. And then going with that theme too, this might even be someone that chose their career over you. So maybe that might have caused an issue in the past. All right. Past energy on their side, it's a bit more straightforward since there's just one card, but we do see the wheel. So even with this though, there's a few different ways this could be playing out. This is actually a card that represents Jupiter energy. And Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So again, we do see a sixth house connection there too. So this could definitely be someone that you might have worked with. But another way this could be playing out too, this could just be saying that this was someone that was exploring their options, maybe not, being too serious about the connection. And this could even be saying that maybe with the power followed by the Nine of Swords, maybe on the surface you were acting like you were fine with that, right? Like you were totally confident in your own right and not really stressing the fact that they had multiple options, but really you might have had some anxiety underneath it all. But this could just also represent the fact that, we did have Jupiter move into your opposite sign recently as well. So it could even just be pointing to that. And again, if we look at that and what I was saying about the Gemini full moon, this could definitely be some kind of energy that was looking back to the time of Sagittarius for some of you. Present position on your side, we have the Two of Arrows. So this is actually some Libra energy here, represents the first 10 degrees of Libra. And for a lot of you, I feel like this is just saying that you might be isolating a bit right now. Fourth house energy, obviously you guys are the natural rulers of the fourth house, but this could just be saying that you could have really withdrawn whatever the situation was about in the past and maybe just really given a lot of thought. As far as, again, like I said, maybe you're reconsidering if you want to be in this connection or not. That's one way it could be playing out. Um, and a lot of you, maybe you could just be getting a lot of messages in your dream state too, because we did see the angel figure in the Nine of Arrows as well, trying to hand an arrow to the woman. And then we see a similar theme here too. So maybe you're getting some kind of messages regarding how you should handle the situation, but maybe you're just not quite ready to move on it, whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling more than anything. That maybe right now, I feel like whatever this was regarding in the past, it feels like you still haven't decided to speak up about it just yet. And then the present energy on their side, we have the Moon, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Eight of Wands. So interesting energies here too. The Moon, technically, this is actually the ruler of your sign, but sometimes this is also seen as Pisces energy. We have the Ace of Pentacles, and then the Eight of Wands, so that's Sagittarius energy there. So once again, I will say we do see some energy at a workplace, so this could definitely be someone that you met in the workplace, and maybe that's what the anxiety is about, because maybe you feel like that, that could definitely be a tricky situation trying to be in a romantic relationship with someone you work with, right? Because if things go south, then that can mess up multiple areas of your life, obviously. So that could be what it is for some of you, and maybe there's some confusion around that, and maybe they're causing you some confusion as well, because it could just be saying on the one hand, they might, maybe it's part of what throws you off too is it might be their energy. Again, I'm not saying that they are a Sagittarius, but like if they have that Sagittarius type energy, right, where they could seem a bit flighty compared to what you're normally used to in romantic relationships. So that could be part of it too. Where on the one hand, it might seem like they're ready for something serious, right, with the Ace of Pentacles energy, but then with the Eight of Wands energy, it might feel like they like to, explore their options more too. But what this could just be saying, and this could definitely be pointing to maybe around the time of the Leo full moon, maybe they'll start to communicate to you about potentially exploring options as far as maybe taking this toward a more serious committed connection. That could be how it's playing out for some of you there, because with the Ace of Pentacles, to me, that represents that it's on their mind, that they are at least considering going down that path with you. And then the Eight of Wands represents actually taking action and communicating toward it. So maybe that's what's at play there. And then the future energy on your side, we have the Seven of Arrows. So this is actually Aquarius energy here. And, we are going to have some energy moving through those degrees as we, go through the month. But what stands out to me here is interesting is for you guys, Aquarius is your eighth house. So I do have to say, that this could just be saying that maybe this is you being involved in like a friends with benefits situation with this person, but you're not necessarily happy about it. You know what I mean? Because if we look at her there, obviously, if we look at her facial expression, she doesn't necessarily look too happy with what's going on, right? As she takes those arrows with her. So it's a different vibe for me with this deck compared to the traditional tarot, for example, the Seven of Swords there. The guy looks very pleased with himself as he's walking off with all those swords, right? So this gives me a different vibe here. And so for a lot of you, I don't necessarily feel like this is like a sneaky, like third party dynamic type thing. I mean, obviously for some of you that can be what's going on, but here more than anything, I feel like this is more like conflict avoidance. You know what I mean? Like to me, this arrow represents like maybe let's say a bunch of concerns you have about the connection, right? But rather than speak up about it, you leave them the impression that everything's okay, right? Like if we look at those two arrows there, each of them representing, one represents you, one represents them, right? You make them think, oh yeah, everything's fine in a relationship, but really you have like so many concerns that are, underneath the surface, but you're not speaking out about them. You know what I mean? So that's why I say to me it feels like conflict avoidance in this particular case, because if we think about the Five of Arrows too, or the Five of Swords, that's a very confrontational, combative type energy. So to me, the symbolism there of her walking away with the five, meaning, that could lead to confrontation. That could just be saying that you might feel like intuitively, you know what, if I bring this up to this person, it's just going to cause conflict, right? And maybe you're just a bit conflict avoidant in that regard, but at the same time, it looks like you're not happy not speaking out about it too, so that's the tricky part. So, and given what I was saying there with the angel symbolism, it looks like you are being nudged to speak up about your concerns, but I don't know, maybe it's just saying that you're not quite there yet. Future energy on their side, we have the Fool. So, depending on which of these storylines seem to fit you best, this could be playing out a few different ways too. So, for some of you, like I said, where maybe this was someone in the past who definitely liked to explore their options, like I said, in the present, it does seem like they are moving closer to wanting to propose something to you more stable, like a long term commitment. So with the Fool in that regard, this could just be saying for them, they could take that leap of faith and say, okay, you know what, I'm actually ready to try a long-term stable commitment here, right? And if we look at those two people in the background, that could even symbolically represent them walking away from that type of dynamic, right? Where they were all more about the casual type flings, and now they're like, okay, well, now I'm going to actually try to enter into something more serious. For others view, this can represent someone who might be in and out in that regard too, which could just be saying that maybe your whole reluctance to get into this connection, maybe they have like a really strong pull on you, maybe there's a big attraction, but maybe this was someone that you knew was only going to be around short term, right? Like maybe they were just in town for a certain amount of time. Especially we are going to have Mercury retrograde in February too. So this might even be an X-Virus, for example, that comes back around, you guys reconnect, but okay, they're not going to be here long term. They're going back to, wherever they live now, right? So could be one of those dynamics. For those of you who fit into one of the other scenarios we were talking about. And I do have to say, for those of you who, if you are the ones who are actually, maybe you've been the ones keeping something beneath the surface. For example, maybe you're in a connection, but maybe there's someone you met at the workplace and maybe there's like something going on there on the side. If they were to find out about that, they could just be saying that they decide to leave the relationship. So you guys would know which of those dynamics fit you best, but that's what I'm seeing there with those energies. And I do have to say, maybe it's just saying that energetically, this is how this person is, though, that they're a lot more get up and go, you know what I mean? A lot more of like a bubbly energy. And maybe that just makes you feel a bit unsettled, So even if they're not doing anything wrong, it could just be like such a contrast to your energy to where, you have anxiety about it. But with all these arrows energies that we've seen in each position, basically, since we have the 9 of arrows here too, it looks like for whatever reason you don't feel comfortable speaking up about your concerns. So something to think about there. Bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Prince of Cups, which is actually the equivalent of the Knight of Cups, which is Pisces energy. So for some of you, this could just be saying that, especially since we're going to have Mercury retrograde in Pisces, maybe this is, again, going back to what I was saying for some of you, where you might be a bit undecided as to whether you want to actually enter into a relationship with this person. So that could be like the back and forth wavering energy you might be having. And then the bottom of the deck on their side is Judgment. So this is something that makes me think that at least for some of you, this could definitely be someone that's coming back around from their past. So, and again, like I said, the retrograde, that tends to happen anyway. But yeah. All right. And it could just be saying second chances too. So like I said, if in the past they were a bit more, exploring their options, it looks like for some of you, it could look like they are considering settling down, and maybe that's what the Judgment represents for them. Where it's like saying maybe in the past you were the one who wanted to lock it down, but they, still wanted to keep things more open, and now it could just be saying that now they're revisiting their thought and maybe thinking, okay, well, we could get into something more long term. So let's see what the Oracle cards add to the mix. First, we'll see if we get anything from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck here. And for those of you who haven't seen this type of video from me before, I do actually pre-shuffle this deck before I start recording. And I'm just going to be looking for a couple of jumpers here. So first I'll be looking for unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if we shuffle for a while and nothing seems to pop up, I just take it as a sign to keep it moving, since it's just a general reading, rather than force it. But if you're wondering, with the personal readings, I always do pull cards for both sides. Alright, so let's see if we get any unspoken messages from you to them first. Oh, okay, got one there. And we'll see if we get one from them to you. Alright, nothing come up yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. Alright, yep, nothing coming up there. Okay, so before we wrap up, we'll see if we get anything from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. So same situation here, I did pre-shuffle this deck before we started recording. And here I'm just looking for one card to help wrap everything up. Okay, got one there. Alright, so from the first deck we got I'm reminded of you constantly. So yeah, I mean, it's not groundbreaking information there. At the very least, we see a lot of being trapped in your head type energy with all the arrows. So I could see where you could definitely, have this person on your mind a lot. And like I said, it's interesting. We mentioned a few different ways this energy could play out, but yeah, that could be what it is for some of you too, where they quote unquote have a power over you, and that you always think about this person. But like I said, you guys might have had a rocky start in the past, and maybe they just gave you a lot of anxiety. And this could be a fire sign you're dealing with too, which obviously any type of connection can work, but it could just be one of those things where their approach was just so different from yours that might have been what was giving you a lot more anxiety too. But it looks like that could be settling between the two of you if that's more of the scenario you're in. And then the oracle card we got from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck is Poised. There's the artwork, and the number is 48. But yeah, I would say more than anything, I really feel like the primary vibe that I'm picking up on here, especially seeing that card, is that this could be this person on this side here now actually reconsidering and possibly wanting to have something more stable. And like I said, maybe in the past you were the one who wanted that, so now you're all confused. So that could be what's going on there, but we'll see what it says. It says being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. The Oracle's message. You can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. So interesting there as far as, it's mentioning confidence a lot, right? And like I said, I feel like if anything, what I'm picking up on this side, now maybe for some of you this might represent your energy and this might be the other person's, but what sticks out to me more than anything on this side is that I feel a vibe of the person not wanting to speak out about something, like having anxiety about speaking up. So again, I feel like you're just being nudged, and you might be getting signs, from everywhere that are just nudging you towards speaking up about whatever your concerns are, but maybe you're just not quite there. And if that's the case, maybe the Prince of Cups in that regard may actually say you might end up taking action in that regard at some point this month. All right. The relationship message says when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. So it's interesting in that regard. I almost feel like the relationship message to me reminds me more of the person on this side, where, like I said, it feels like there's someone here who, again, maybe they did explore their options in the past, right? Or maybe they just had other things going on in their life that wouldn't really allow them to settle down. But now this could just be saying that they might be taking that leap of faith, since we do see that Ace of Pentacles there and the Eight of Wands, which represents taking action on that Eight of Pentacles, or Ace of Pentacles rather, and actually, moving towards something more stable. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.